Oh, hello, hello, hello. Whew. How is everyone today? And welcome. And for those who are just joining or just happen to decide to click on my YouTube or my Instagram, uh, God bless you. My name's Mary Jane Tracy. I'm known as the Guru Mama. I talk about the shenanigans of the planets. I bring you the 411 of the cray cray of not only of the planets, but of the world around and how that is interpreted and how you may be experiencing a lot of the cray cray of the world because the intensity is there. And unfortunately, the intensity is just, you wonder how much more we could take with everything getting cranked up, you know? And it's just, crazy. So first of all, I want to say that for the Pisces full moon, and it's going to be a full moon eclipse report, is going to be available. You have to order. They're $50. And in them, I'm going to be talking about the connections between your emotional and physical body within the video. There's a limited amount that I do because it takes time. It takes time to record them and get the information for you. So if you are wanting to get one, and I do a oracle or tarot reading at the end specifically for you. So it's also wanting to bring in the frequencies and the different I'm going to say frequencies and codes and what you will need to, as we're going on from this full moon into, the new moon and into um into further, because the notes are going to be changing in January. So we're going to be experiencing Virgo Pisces eclipses coming up, and they are going to be bringing in a different type of intensity because now, from air and fire, we're going into water and earth. So this is and mutable signs. So they're going to be quite erratic is the word that comes to me. So getting the moon readings is just helping you, I feel, is helping you to really hone in on what's happening so that it gives you sort of like an instruction book, gives you an itinerary of how to sort of deal with it, and when it does hit or when things do go sideways, it's like, okay, I knew this was coming. I'm prepared. This is how I'm going to react. I'm not going to go dive deep into it and and just go nutters on it, right? So this is really, really helping you. So I do, if you want to just buy the one reading, it's $50. If you want to buy the readings from that full moon to the end of the year in December, they're $200. So they're 50% off because there's 8 of them, I believe. So let's get into this. Let's get into some of the craziness. Yesterday I was at the pagan festival. It was interesting. It was really interesting. Beautiful people. Love, beautiful people, interesting people. I'm always love to observe. That's what I love to do. I love to watch. And just observing how interactions are. Fabulous vendors that were there. Some beautiful products. I bought some incense, handmade incense, beautiful. There's a lovely, lovely woman who made different sobs and stuff like that, and it was like total, like beautiful, well produced products. So there's some people out there that are really doing some real beautiful products, from candles to even, she had one person had like tallow face creams and eye creams and things like that, to beautiful crystals. Ron was there with his beautiful crystals, and some lovely other readers were there as well. So some like the people and everything was there. The one thing, we had, I don't know what her name is, but she did an opening ceremony. We didn't have a closing ceremony, which was interesting. We had an opening one, in calling in the directions for the for the pagan festival. It just, one it's community. It's community. It's great that we come together, once in a while. But what's missing, and we're going to be finding this more and more within the astrology and as I go through this, is that we are wanting connection. Now, the moon right now is in Scorpio, and it'll be going into Sagittarius early tomorrow morning. But with its connections like Neptune and Uranus and Pluto, that there's a lot of earth and water right now, a lot of opportunity for profound transformation, that's can help us. And the symbol of the butterfly comes in. So the butterfly of a symbol of that transformation and change, going through the different metamorphosis of the change. And this is a cosmic power. And I feel like it's very aligned because we are learning to that and step into that cosmic power. Now, there is no room in the new, I'm going to say the new game in the new matrix. There's no room for powerless or for powerlessness. Now, the thing is, when I say that, it's using the power, using that for positivity. And again, I'm coming back to community. And creating a community is, to me, it's important right now. I got all these notes here. You got to bear with me. This power of transformation and change coming forth, it's for us stepping into this newness, stepping into this change. And I feel, especially with the eclipses coming in, it's going to be the first of several eclipses, as I said, that are going to be happening in Virgo Pisces axis over the next couple of years. But we know the nodes are going to be changing. The nodes are going to be going into Virgo and Pisces. And this first eclipse, this one that's happening in how many days? 9 days. It's happening in 9 days. It's this feeling of preparation, being prepared, getting ourselves going, getting ourselves organized. And especially on this particular axis, there's this nudge that's coming in moving us in a direction that there's a turning. And what I discovered yesterday when doing a couple readings, that a lot of people are in dark spaces, are in darkness. They're looking for something, they're wanting something. And I feel like there's, in wanting to look for something or they don't want to come in to something that is new. Now, going back to that, there's just something that was totally off with the opening ceremonies. I wasn't the only one who felt it. Quite a few other people mentioned it to me as well. I didn't say anything to them. They're just like, oh, I couldn't be out there. It was just too much, or whatever, reason. I just like, oh, okay, interesting. I didn't voice my opinion about it, which is totally unusual because I usually voice my opinion, whether people like it or not. But it is this profound work that's coming in that is taking place, an alchemical process. And there is this water softens earth and earth holds water. And being that they're really dealing with those two elements, well, right now the moon is in Scorpio over this weekend, like it went in Friday, Saturday, Friday. And it was, I'm trying to think, when did it go in? And, and I know it's leaving tomorrow morning. So, but there's a deeper and deeper, it's almost like I'm seeing very saturated down into the earth, as if water keeps flowing deeper and deeper and penetrating deeper and deeper, and it's getting to the deep roots and structures and the different layers. And this is where people are going to be finding huge trouble, right? And this is critical. I'm going to YouTube. I need my phone. Okay, you go to YouTube. It's this penetration that's coming in, and it's deep, and it's going to the deep roots. Now, this is where foundation. Now, with the notes that are going to be changing in January, and this is sort of the the prelude of it, this full moon that's going to be happening in 9 days, is getting us to really look at some deep foundations and spiritual foundations within our world. And I one of the things that I feel is missing, and it's if you want to go into the pagan community, is a deep foundation of connection. So having a deep foundation of connection, I really feel is missing. And the more I talk to different people within the community, whether you're, little witch, little fairy, druid, it is a connection. When we go back to the ancient ones, there was, when they did community, when they did, they were interacting and living with one another and acknowledging one another. And I feel like this is where a lot of things are going to get triggered and people get triggered, and I kind of bring them, and some of them are going to be bringing back, to life. And especially where the water reaches the depths of some of these foundations that are coming in, and reaching into these depths of foundations is really going to bring in, nourishment, because something has been lying dormant, or just hurt, neglected, things that were neglected, so that there's going to be like these polarities that are going to come in with this. And we're going to not only see it within our own lives, but see it on the world front. And, going back to community, that's why a lot of people are, they, it's on the rise, but it's not on, I'm going to say it's not on the rise. It's not on the rise. It's where, because I don't know if people are afraid. I don't know if people, are really like the people I spoke to, they're really searching for connection and really searching for something. And that's where, polarities, because I feel like with Mercury moving into Virgo, interesting, with Leo enough, I feel like this can be helpful in the process, because we are really there. There's just such a huge, try not to hang on things right now, like try not to hang on to things so much, because as we're moving through a lot of these transformation and changes in that, are getting us to let go. And especially with this upcoming full moon and Pisces, that it's going to help us reveal some of those self-sacrificing patterns that we have. And there's a lot of what I'm going to be, when I look into your charts, when I do these readings, and looking at some of these self-sacrificing um, things that we do. We all do them. They're all within our chart. But when we can get um, the help, the aid that you need to help to transform that energy at its very deep level and its structure, and it gets to get it expressed through our structure now, and especially with, the moon in Scorpio right now, is really helping us to really come into that powerful transformation and change. And I think for myself, a lot of times it's very difficult for people to work with me, because I am, like I got a stellium in Scorpio. That means I have more than 3 planets in my sign. It's in the 5th house. The 5th house is ruled by Leo, which is ruled by the sun. So I want to bring in the sun. I want to bring in that transformation. I want to bring in that depth, and I want to bring it in with love. But sometimes that can be a little overpowering for people in doing that. And this weekend, and as we're heading forward to that full moon, is a very powerful transformative energy. And given that we have Pluto now retrograde in Capricorn in the structure, and a level of detoxification and surrender that is associated with Pluto for the body, there is a form of detoxification. Now, with Pluto going back in Capricorn, you got to be aware that it rules the bones, right? It rules the teeth. So you might be feeling your bones a little bit more, or maybe it's doing some, maybe feeling more arthritis. And then, of course, with the water that's really coming in with this full moon, and even with Neptune and Saturn being in hello in Pisces, well, then we have the adrenals. We have a lot to do with the hormones, and the hormones and uh, being out of the alignment, and the immune system. So you might be feeling a little bit achy, out of whack, out of, and also with the detoxing. So the releasing and wanting to release what some things, that especially with Scorpio could either be too much or not enough. So with Scorpio, it could be that you got to run a diarrhea, right? Because it rules the butt. It rules that area. And this is where, or you might be finding that you're just, things aren't moving inside of you. You're bloated, things aren't going. So this is where you have to look at, what kind of fibers you need. What does your body need? Is it soluble? Is it insoluble? So, some examples, if you feel like you need, something to slow down the digestion, that helps control your blood sugar levels, right? And some examples could be apples, avocados, bananas, beans, berries, citrus, sweet potatoes, yams, white rice, oatmeal, the list goes on. There are all examples of soluble fibers, and soluble fibers are also, it dissolves in water. No, insoluble fibers, it stays pretty much whole as it moves through the digestive tract, and it helps in what helps keep you regular. It helps things to move in some examples. So, like garlic and onions and celery, and um, different vegetables, and brown rice is another one. Whole grains, greens, nuts, seeds. Those are like something, that is insoluble. So they it helps to get things and sort of clean the way out, right? Because your body reacts to what is going on in the world around you. So if you are feeling very congested or very bloated, your body's reacting because maybe your things in your life are feeling bloated, feeling out of control, feeling like, oh, I can't let this go. Right. And that's the other thing. And it's like, well, what can I let go? And sometimes once you figure that out, everything starts to flow, you know? Um, and it's amazing how the body reacts. Now, when we pay attention to, because with Scorpio, if you do have a Scorpio moon, so this is something to pay attention to, with a Scorpio sun, moon, or rising. So it's very important to pay attention. Or what aspects do you have in your Scorpio house? And that could be that, what do you have in the eighth house in your chart, and where Scorpio is lying in your chart as well, and what that house is, and how that aspect relates to you, in your life. What is that house? So this is very important to understand. So when we can understand our chart, we can understand some of the things that are happening and how we can work through them. Now, Virgo is also the one that rules, and I have had a lot of clients having issues with their animals. Well, Virgo rules animals. It rules large animals. It rules horses and things, and cows, and dogs. So people are finding that they've been having, even yesterday there was quite like people, I don't know if it's a new thing for people, for vendors to bring their dogs um to vend with them. It was, I don't know, there was a lot of people with dogs there yesterday, that were vendors. Anyways, but a few of them were telling me that their dogs have been having issues in the last little while, and whether that's joint pain, digestion problems, things aren't sitting, their dog's been throwing up, or their horse has been having issues, or a few of them had, cows, they have cattle, and they've been having some issues with the cows. So these are things like, especially with um, Virgo, Sun, and then we're coming into the Pisces. So things, what you think is happening with you can also happen with your animals as well. So it's very important to pay attention to all of that as well, and making sure that your animals are getting what they need, and for the proper digestion that they need for themselves. Now, going back to human, for an easier digestion for you, um, is having, certain things that are cooked, like garlics and onions and bell peppers with grains, especially having those with uh what is it? Oh my god, I can't pronounce the word. Carnivorous veggies like kale and making sure that they're properly steamed or putting them in a smoothie, and is quite appealing as well. And watching the different oils that your body's intaking. All of this, when we're looking at the shifts that are happening, can help us to really move through things more quickly and more easily. Now, the thing is that as we're going into, we're coming into a moodiness too for the weekend. And so, you might have found this weekend being very emotional, and that's going to carry over as we're going into the beginning of the week. A lot of emotions that are going to be coming in. And I know that there's a tendency to want to control things. If we just give ourselves that space right now, we are able to go through the process and allow for things to move through. Lovely things, for essential oils is fennel. Fennel is a beautiful oil of responsibility. This is taking full responsibility in the shifts in our body, and listen, release the emotions that you've been having stored up and move forward. So this is very, to help to come into that alignment. And there's also, with that processing, so you can use the fennel in a diffuser. If you want to, you can use it on a carrying oil and just add a little bit onto different points onto the body as well. And the thing is that you're wanting to feel supported. Now, with Pluto being in Capricorn right now, again, we're going to have things that you might be finding over the next couple months, your joints, your teeth. So paying attention to those. So your teeth might be becoming very sensitive. So making sure that you might have to use Sensodyne or something that helps to desensitize your teeth. I've been looking into coconut pull for the teeth, and doing a coconut pull, and that's supposed to be very helpful for sensitive teeth as well. So I've been told. I've never done it before, but that's what I heard. I've been looking into it, and when I get a little bit of a flow of abundance more so, then it probably will be something I'm going to look into more. The other oil that's coming in is cardamom, which is of integrity, and integrity with your higher self. And my thoughts are, the cause of my suffering as emotions rise go within to see where the stories and the memories are. Now, cardamom is very good. You can add it into a chili, you can chop it up, you can toast it and add it into different foods if you wish. So you can use the cardamom itself. Cardamom you can add because it's a little bit peppery, spicy kind of thing. You can add that in and put it in a diffuser too if you have the cardamom oil. I wouldn't necessarily put cardamom on me. And the other one is rosemary. Rosemary really helps with depression. It helps with clarity of mind. It is a transition oil that really helps us to get to our higher knowledge. It is one that if you take an actual rosemary and you got it and you just rub it in your hands and just smell it. Put the rosemary, if you are reading or studying something, put rosemary in the book that you're utilizing it right now. And if you are needing it, coming in. We do oil pull then after. Oh, I would not. No, I would no. Brush my teeth with baking soda? Hell no. 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 Never. Never, ever, 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 unless I am so desperate that I need to brush my teeth. Sorry, Charlie. No. Um, yeah. Uh, I was raised before we had toothpaste and stuff that we had to use baking soda for brushing our teeth at times, and I will never ever do that. That's just it makes me want to gag. But I can toothpaste is bad for you. Well, toothpaste might be bad for you, but if that's all a person can use, I mean, I use toothpaste every day. I mean, a lot of things are bad for you, but I refuse to brush my teeth with baking soda. I really do. There's baking soda toothpaste too. It's just gross. To me, that's just gross. There's really other toothpaste that you can get that are good, and that you can utilize, but no, that would be to me that would be the very Like, it just sort of like how you feel about kale. Like, to me, kale, I've had lovely kale salads and kale smoothies. You know, when you put them in a smoothie and you put like a green orange or green apple in there with, you know, some other goodies and stuff like that. I think kale is, you know, can be easily absorbed in things like that. That's probably how you feel. That's how I feel about baking soda. I don't know if anybody else feels like about that way. Um, Doing the pull, yeah. But the thing is, the other part too is that what I'm finding is we want to make things that are, I know, I get like easy and accessible for people, things that are practical and things that people will actually do. Eat it, but it's own, I won't. And you know, to buy certain things. And I mean, this is the other part of, you know, with Pluto back in Capricorn, is that we're going to be seeing the economy take a few spins all over the place, right? And watching, you know, how these spins kind of affect us. And you know what people's priority are. Not everybody can go and buy, I mean, coconut, not everybody can go buy coconut and things like that. That's why I say I'm looking into it, and I'll do it when I have money, or when I have an extra bit of money. And that's the other thing too, and I think that's all going back to the community thing. Um, but you know, to each his own. Doing the thing. So going back to the blood sugar and helps in stimulating. The other thing, rosemary is helped to stimulate, and it works with blood sugar and also helps to restore hair and for hair growth. If people are needing to, you know, you can get some really nice. Now, I wouldn't put rosemary oil, essential oil, directly onto my scalp. I would use like a jojoba oil, a carrion oil, or something like that. Or there are some really natural hair growth rosemary products that you can get and utilize as well. You know, and that's very important. Now on the world stage, you know, as I said before, the turbulence is there. The turbulence, you know, people are going to be feeling that the craziness. They're going to be feeling things really amping up, especially unemployment rates. More people are going to be losing their jobs, or they're going to be having to go down to part-time because either the company is unable to afford it, so they're going to be cutting wages. I mean, one of the biggest companies since 1995, Volkswagen has always said, you know, they would keep up and make sure that people get fair wages for fair, you know, for work and things like that. Now they can't even, um, because of the cost. The company is, I think, the company Volkswagen is going in with Ford. So the changes that are happening there, because they cannot afford to keep their standards up, right? And that's very important, as you know, that's the other things that are going on. And that's part of Pluto and Capricorn. It's going back to what is that basis? What are those structures that are important to you? And you know, here in Canada, we are starting to see some structures that are going on. Now, I know many people are like, oh yeah, we're going conservative, or you know, what have you. And there's something there. There's some craziness that I feel, or something that is within this whole change of guard, or change that wants to come forth within, especially within Canada, is um very unsettling. It's very unsettling, to say the least. Now, the thing is, you know, we have down in the States, and what's going on in the States is another thing that is extremely unsettling too, in how things are going to unfold down there. And it's not going to go the way people think, you know, and it's not going to go to the person they think it's going to be. So if you think it's the people that are running going to be the next president, I really don't think it is. It's not going to be those people you think it is, and the people who are in the news right now. So the change that's coming forth, and it's just the rhetoric and um the pressure that is being put on people at this time, is going it's going to be it's going to be crazy. I'm just going to say to Charlene, it's propaganda. It's propaganda. Like it's propaganda. Like yeah. So, as I said, the people you think who are running right now are not going to be the ones going into the presidency, right? And the one that, I mean, the fear, and it's the same here. It's like how things are transpiring here. There's going to be a lot of explosions that are going to be happening up here in Canada. But the people are getting where, when you're going, like um going to the grocery store, and seeing how things are, and just feeling the energies when you're going into different stores, feeling the energies as you're moving around. And it can be feeling very heavy, overwhelming. And this is very important to come back and come back, put your hand on, I'm big on putting my hand on my heart, and like, okay, I got to ground, I got to come in. It's just like, even with that opening ceremony yesterday, it was just like, this doesn't feel right. I don't know why it didn't feel right. I don't know what it is. I just feel like there's just, I was watching it, just felt off. I don't know if it was the person. I don't know. I know the moon was in Scorpio. I understood the astrology of it, but I was just like, there's just something odd with all of this. And I think this is how I'm thinking in myself. If I'm going to a festival, I'm thinking of like how they do if you ever been to a medieval festival, they have jugglers, they have all of these different people that are doing different things, different events going on all over the place. To me, that is more of a festival. They had some really lovely bands and stuff like that were playing, but it was just, and poetry being read and stuff like that. But it was just, there's something there. There's something there. I missed that part in the beginning of the life. And it's just very it's just interesting. It's interesting to be the observer. And that's the whole thing, because things are moving so radically and changing so fast. This is where you got to watch where things for, of I got cilantro coming in as well. Can be very helpful to bringing in cilantro. Now, cilantro thing is, either people love cilantro or they don't love cilantro. And cilantro is one of those funny things where for some people it tastes like soap and they hate it. All right. I'm one of those people who do not like cilantro, right? My husband loves cilantro, which is funny. Like he'll put cilantro and things. I mean, he put cilantro and then it tastes like soap. And actually that's a gene thing. The cilantro thing is a gene thing. It's and so that's just one of those things. But anyways, if you love cilantro, it's beautiful. Also with lemongrass. So lemongrass is which I love. Lemongrass, I just can't get enough of. It is emotionally, it's energetically, it's physically, it's a very beautiful emotional cleanser, and it comes in and it helps the lymph nodes. So lemongrass is really great for helping the lymph nodes and bringing cleansing and clearing in there. So a lot of the, with the herbs like the fennel, the cardamom, the rosemary, the lemongrass, and cilantro, um, but you just don't want to overdo it so that you go into some kind of crazy crisis. So you got to really watch the flow of things. So the physical body is really um, going to be going through a lot of cleansing, clearing, and heaviness. And now a lot of people are going to be feeling that heaviness. A lot of people might be feeling it, mentally. They could be feeling it physically and within spiritually. They might feel like there's a void there. I'm not really feeling my connection with my divine. But I'm going to tell you, don't give up. Don't give up. If you don't feel like that full connection right now, don't give up. Continue on with your prayers and your meditations and your journaling, because they're going to help and guide you, and you're going to find the answers are going to come through for you. There's a lot of times that you're just going to feel like a hot mess, and you got to get through all of this and keep on doing the steps and doing the pivots. And that's very important to be able to do that. And it's like going off your gut, your physical, no, or not your physical, but your psychic clarity coming in. So going off your gut instinct, your intuition right now. Um, it's also, you go off by your gut instinct, but I feel there's also where you have to have come in and have some of that intellect, especially with Jupiter and Gemini. And Jupiter is at 18, 19 degrees, going up to 21 degrees before it goes retrograde. And Mars is slowing down, and Mars is slowing down in Cancer. So there's, that energy of going forward. So we really have to be kind, allowed to pivot, allowed to move in more gentle formation, and not be so bitchy with ourselves and try and overdo it, because one, we could very much injure ourselves in some way. We could damage something that we don't want damaged within our own selves, but it could be even as you drive. Gemini rules, Jupiter and Gemini, that rules cars and travel, short distance and stuff like that. So being wise in what you're doing is very important as well. Not to, and if you're feeling out of it, if you're feeling, um, because there's this psychological stuff right now, so you always need to keep going deeper and deeper within the layers and doing the cleansing that needs to be done. And a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. This is just too much. And with, Pluto and Neptune, there's a lot to do with the shifting and our psychological, and how things are moving and how things are going to be going. And I mean, the two of them, making a Ceci quadrant, is really, you're not really seeing fully what is being unfolded. We can feel it. We have an idea of the transformation and changes that need to be done. We can feel it within our body. Our bodies might be craving different types of food to do the cleansing, so it's very important to listen. And this is where it's like, allowing ourselves to move through. So we're big breaths out there, and especially this full moon that's coming in 9 days. It's going to be a very powerful moon. People are going to feel it. It's going to be very, it's 12th house. It's Pisces, Neptune, Jupiter there. And we're going to, we're going to start feeling it within the next few days, and feeling that, oh God, there's a lot going on, a lot of emotion going on. 12th house has to do with karma. 12th house has to do with secrets, and your own secrets of others. So this is where the full moon is going to highlight some of those secrets that are going to come out. But we're not going to see all of it because it's a partial eclipse. So we're not going to be able to see everything that's going to come forward. And Pluto's going to bring in that rumbling of it all. So it's going to be, there could be some deceptions within your own self, within the people around you, deceptions within, within the government. Well, we know that. Deceptions within other things that are going on, could be within the workplace as well. And so this is where, looking at how we're going to work this out, how we're going to move through this, and allowing ourselves not to overdo it. If you need a healing, you need a massage, you need to get yourself, doing something like that, definitely go in and get yourself a healing done. I would, as Charlene brushes her teeth with the baking soda, I'll put the baking soda in the bath and cleanse that way. And doing a cleanse, just going not so much to wash, but going into a soak and allowing yourself to soak in a bath for no longer than 20 minutes. I think anything longer than that would be just a little bit too much stress and strain on the body at this time. And if you're needing to release, allowing yourself to release what you are hanging on to, a lot of deep work right now. You think that you've done it. You think that you're like, oh, I'm blah, blah, blah years old. I don't need to do this bullshit anymore. I've done it all. Well, baby, there's always more to be done, because you're still on the earth walk. And you're definitely not Jesus or Gandhi. Even Gandhi had issues. I mean, he wasn't a perfect person. He was a man, and he had issues. So let's pull out some unicorn cards. Shuffling. So if you are wanting to order a moon reading, get a hold of me. They're $50. Or if you want to order the readings for the rest of the year for the new moon and full moon, they're $200. So, I mean, you're saving, that ends up being like $25 a reading. I love these cards. These are beautiful, beautiful cards. Trust in the process. Trust that everything's going to go the way that it needs to go. Even though you might be feeling like a hot mess and everything's going to hell in a handbasket. When it comes to relationships, when it comes to things that are going on, it's going to feel vulnerable. It's going to feel aggravating. And this is where it's like, it's, you know, we're leaping into the unknown, and we have to have that faith. Have that faith in God. Have that faith and believe you will fly. So know that God, your divine, is there. And that's God with the big G, not God with the little g. I don't deal with the little g's anymore. I only deal with the big G. And for me, I always call in the Divine Mother. Bringing in the Queen of Angels. Because nothing can touch her. And she's one lady that can undo knots. She can do so many things. Like, she is a very powerful, powerful woman, you know, and bringing that power in. And also Mary Magdalene is also another beautiful powerhouse to bring forth in. And bring forth in it. And she really works with unconditional love and helping you to come into that place of positive love. So when you trust, you can use your imagination and bring forth the imagination. And when we have the imagination, this is allowing for us to look into envisioning a new reality, looking at, you know, I'm going to trust that I can create this. I'm going to trust I can move into this, into these realms, and I'm giving myself permission to dream this and know that through working with the higher power. And that's the key. You're not doing this on your own. If you think you want to push and do it on your own, it's going to be very difficult. But if you're able, when you're able to give it up to the Holy Spirit, when you're able to give it up to God and say, you know, through you, all things can happen. Through you and your Divine Mother, all things can happen, and I can move forward. This is to believe in the unlimited possibilities. And the unlimited possibilities are only through a higher power, and that's God. And then with that comes the abundance. Gotta love it. So you got to trust in the imagination of what is coming forth for you. Allow yourself to dream, and putting those dreams into that of your divine and to go forward allows for the abundance to come in and gives you that unlimited supply, because your supply is limited. You're human. Hate to tell you guys that. You're just human. You might be or have DNA and different structures from aliens and fairies and everything else, but you still came into a human body. You're still doing the earth walk. So this is allowing for you to go in and dip into that unlimited supply, which comes from the angels and the divine. There you go. Y'all have a blessed day, and may the Lord Almighty watch over and bless each and every one of you, and all you say and all you be and all you do. Have a blessed day, everybody, and have a fabulous week coming. I may not be doing lives every single day this week. They're going to be probably hit and miss because of my job. I'm only working one job now. I'm not working two. I had to let go of the Acadia one because it conflicted with my full-time job. And I need the full-time hours right now. So to bring in my abundance and allow for my dreams to take flight as well. So on that note, have a blessed one, everyone. And we will talk to you guys soon. So have a good one. Bye-bye.